Hey guys, it's First Regardsman, and today we're here to talk about a Power Sword Wings of Flame build for the Assault class in patch 8.0 Space Marine 2. Now, the Assault class is a strong class versus Tyranids. Against Chaos, he sucks, and I'm going to be honest, he kind of becomes unplayable post like Wave 15 against Chaos at times, and especially Wave 20 Chaos, because the damage the enemies do in the Siege mode is quite frankly untested. It is busted. They will outright one-shot you at times, and he simply does not have the survivability or the moveset to properly deal with that in most scenarios, and he'll just die. Like, his whole playset kind of just crumbles in the higher waves. But most players are looking to get past wave 15 first, and this build should function for that quite well. The better build here would be the Power Fist that I have in my overpowered builds video, but Power Sword is very popular, and I really like the fencing weapon on this one, so that's why I'm going to do this one today. Now, as far as the actual perk tree setup goes, for the Power Sword here, I have decided to take Armored Strength first. If you have armor remaining, melee damage increases by 10%. This has a great synergy with our Armor Reinforcement perk that we will be taking, because, you know, you're pretty much getting your armor back all the time. So this 10% buff is active for most of the game. Next perk we have here is Master of Offense. After switching sword combat style, you deal 20% more melee damage for 5 seconds. Cooldown is 10 seconds. This perk is good. It's worse now because the way the stance switching works when you dodge is no longer like it was pre-patch 8. You used to be able to do like a lunging attack immediately after dodging into sword switch, and that is kind of unfortunate that it no longer works that way. Now you just dodge, you switch your stance, and it's still faster than like a normal stance switch, but definitely worse than it used to be, which is kind of unfortunate. Bit of a nerf there. But next perk here is Perpetual Strength. Into Perpetual Strength, pure damage increase, pretty self-explanatory. Then we take Tranquility. While in Power Whirl stance, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. This is pretty good for Power Whirl. Now, Power Whirl is just your like little delayed hit that does a big spin. It's not like one of your stances, so it doesn't come up that often for the no knockback, but still a decent perk. Next perk here is Melee Onslaught. This weapon deals 10% more melee damage. You know, more damage is more damage. Then we go into Hard Target. While performing a light combo, you take 15% less range damage. This perk is a little underrated. This is something like the only damage resist, especially against range, that this class can get outside like scramble targeting. And this sword attacks quite fast, especially in the speed style, so this actually procs pretty easily. Next perk I take here is Cutting Edge. Power Rake deals 50% more melee damage. Now, Power Rake is our primary damage dealer on the Power Sword to begin with, and this is also affected by the Overcharge perk for plus 25% damage from charged melee attacks if you want to take this as well for super ultra damage. But really, the Power Sword benefits a ton from more Power Rake damage. And really, this perk, Reeling Blow, sucks so much compared to this one. This is a great perk for extra damage. Next perk we take here is Extremis Slayer. Melee damage against Extremis level enemies increases by 15%. You know, more damage is more damage. We don't take the Minoris Slayer here because you don't really hit any breakpoints versus Minoris unless you're really at all with this weapon. With this perk, so it's kind of like a waste of points. So instead we go up to Majoris Slayer for 10% more to Majoris, and then Terminus Slayer for 20% to Terminus, which is pretty easy to get. And it's up to you whether or not you want to take Power Restoration or Speed Restoration. The reason I don't take the perk Kill Streak here is because we already have no knockback from our Prestige perk Adrenaline Rush here, which is, or excuse me, Adrenaline Boost for no knockback on parry, block, or dodge. So really don't need this Kill Streak perk at all for no knockback. And this thing down here for Fencing Blade for 4 to 5 on our combo length. Really, the amount of times in this game you get a 5-hit combo off is very, very unusual. So, or I should say rare. It's kind of a wasted perk here as well. So that's why I just take the Power Restoration or the Speed Restoration for that extra contested HP. Just overall better. Now, next perk selection I have here would be to our full-on talent tree, and we take Armor Reinforcement, like previously mentioned. Non-finisher gun strikes restore 1 armor segment. This perk is excellent. This is like some of the best defense you're going to get on the Assault, especially versus Chaos, excuse me, not Chaos, especially versus Tyranids, but it does function on Chaos. Chaos does give you fewer opportunities to gun strike, which does suck. It's kind of like a huge issue with the Assault class in general, is that he sucks against Chaos, but versus Tyranids, super useful. Any amount of armor in this game will reduce incoming melee damage to 0, and there is like a damage cap on armor, so overall armor is very valuable, despite what some people may say. Next thing here is Overcharge. Damage from charged melee attacks increases by 25%. You can use this if you want. You will lose out on some survivability, but this will boost the damage of your Power Rake. This will affect the damage of anything in this game. It's like a held down melee attack button, like Aftershock, your Power Fist, Thrust Jab, Back Fist, that kind of thing. So it is a very strong perk. I just prefer to take this one. Now, next perk here is Auxiliary Arsenal. Secondary weapons damage increases by 20%. Very useful perk. This buffs your range damage a ton, especially when you take it in conjunction with Practice Aim. It's a 35% range damage bonus. But I will say, if you do not have a tactical on your team with Secure Stockpile perk, I would just wind up taking the consecutive execution instead for a 90-second Melt-A-Bomb, especially in Siege mode, because in Siege mode, you really do need Melt-A-Bombs to be a super effective portion of your team, and that's why Tactical Secure Stockpile is so busted. It's because it gives equipment recharge to a class like Bulwark that usually has none, and it's a pretty epic perk for that reason, but on the Assault class, he does have an alternative option. Next perk I take here is Knowledge of the Enemy. Melee damage increases by 15% against Majoris or Extremis level enemies. This does count for your ground pound as well. Very excellent perk. More damage is more damage. That's really like the main thing about the Assault class. He has the most direct melee damage in the game, so this is just more of that. Then we take Proven Efficiency. All squad members deal 30% more Gunstrike damage. This is a Gunstrike build with Wings of Flame, so naturally we're going to take Gunstrike damage. And then we take Ground Pound, or excuse me, Precision Strike. Ground Pound deals 100% more damage, but its radius is reduced by 50%. This is a great perk, and really, when it comes to the Power Sword, the AoE of this is already pretty trash, and you're really be landing on Majoris primarily, and 100% more damage is super good. This hits a lot of breakpoints. Great perk. Pretty much take this on all my builds. And then we go up into Wings of Flame. A jump pack dash damages enemies along its trajectory and always works as a perfect dodge when dodging an attack. This perk scales upward so much, especially against multiple bosses. You can go through like triple Carnifexes at the same time and deal serious damage to all of them and the wave in between. Amazing perk, super undervalued for a long time. I slept on this for way too long. Incredible perk. It just gets better the more enemies are on your screen, especially in Siege mode. And then we take Aerial Grace. After a perfectly timed dodge using a jump pack dash, you deal 30% more damage for 10 seconds. Now, this is a synergistic perk with this, though if you want to take something like Pride and Duty for more ground pound damage after a finisher, that will work too, because sometimes the 30% here doesn't do a ton for you, because you are going to be gun striking immediately after, and this does not affect your gun strike damage whatsoever, but it does do everything else. And then we naturally take the signature perk Commitment, a perfectly timed dodge using a jump pack dash restores jump pack's ability charge. Pretty much mandatory for any Wings of Flame build, and really this perk should be a passive. Unfortunately is not, and we were just required to take this. Now for the prestige perks, I have taken Adrenaline Boost. After a perfectly timed parry, block, or dodge, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. Perk is pretty much mandatory on this class. No knockback will keep you from dying in this game to outright stun locks, not against certain bosses, but on many of the enemies, like Sword Warriors, you'll be able to live, Zoanthropes, you'll be able to live. Excellent perk. Some of the only knockback resist we actually have on this class, but it's also the best version of it, so it works out. Then I take Fortitude because health is very valuable in this game for a 15% health increase, some of the only survivability this class actually gets. And then I take Scramble Targeting. If you are surrounded by 5 or more enemies, you take 20% less damage from range attacks. This is a very valuable perk and very noticeable. And also if you have a heavy on your team with Encompassing Aegis for 25% more reduced damage from range attacks, this will stack with that for like a 45% boost. That's a ton of range damage reduction, and range attacks are really what kill this class to begin with. Some people want to take Unyielding Oath when charging a ground pound. You become invulnerable for 3 seconds. This perk doesn't even function when you take off. It really should be buffed, to be honest, and doesn't even function in the air at times. And you also have to, it bugs out occasionally, and just you die. It's kind of unfortunate, but Scramble Targeting overall far more valuable, especially in Siege mode where there are 5 enemies around you pretty much 24/7. And then finally, I take Practice Aim here. Range damage increases by 15%. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't take a Duelist because Duelist doesn't really help us at all unless you're using like a block weapon, because 25% for like a fencing, like who cares? Fencing is a 40 frame active window with a 0 frame startup, not really benefiting from this at all. And here we have Commendation, which is a terrible perk like most revive perks in this game. so I don't even look at this for the most part. Now, as far as the secondary weapon is concerned, I have decided to take the heavy bolt pistol because I will be playing an operation, and really the heavy bolt pistol helps out with things like neurothropes a lot more than the plasma does, though the plasma AoE gun strikes are amazing in siege mode, so I would take this if you're playing in siege, especially with the team. It's just that heavy bolt pistol is far better for boss kills and zoanthropes, and really the terminus damage is quite good. It's also more ammo efficient, and this class does struggle a lot with ammo. He has like 0 ammo recovery, which kind of sucks, which is why we build into like all capacity with efficient charge, and we just take the ammo variant here because it's kind of what you have to do, which is really unfortunate. And then same thing here with the heavy bolt pistol. You always take the ammo capacity variant, and really the magazine capacity of 14 is like almost mandatory on a lot of the guns in this game, especially on like the secondary, or I should say the highest magazine capacity variants are like usually the best, just because being able to shoot longer if you don't have an auto reload is very important, and these weapons really benefit you a ton. And the perk tree setups, like I said before, it's just built into the top tree for all headshot damage, and then built into Great Might for terminus damage. If you want to take capacity instead, you certainly can. I decided to take this for boss damage. Now, as far as the assault class, that is pretty much everything I have to say on this build, and now it's off to the actual gameplay. Here we are in game with the Power Sword Wings of Flame build on Decapitation, because they did buff the HP of the Hive Tyrant in patch 8, so I'm kind of curious to take it to a true solo with this build setup. Wings of Flame is quite good against him though, and honestly Decapitation is just one of my favorite missions. Not just because it's easy though, plus because it's fun. Oh, shoot him, kill this guy, move on up. Oh. Close. Okay, well, so we're just gonna push on up and then kill these guys and move up there. If you actually use your jetpack, you can get right up to that point. It's quite easy if you want to speed run something. This is our power roll here, for those of you who don't know. All you have to do to get a power roll off is just sit there for a second, do one swing, and wait until he gets in that stance, and then, like this stance here, stop, and then you do your jump. Hopefully, preferably, when you're not getting shot at. Alright, so that.
Another alien falls to the Imperials. Jump pack refuel.
Dude, these guys do a ton of damage. These Enraged Devourers. Kind of cracked. These guys are also on siege mode now, though it does feel like they don't get the full HP heal they do in the operations, which is good because they're toxic enough as is. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there is an assault rant coming because this class is damn near unplayable, as previously stated. On the siege mode, on the higher waves. A lot of the classes kind of become unplayable, but him especially. He just takes so much damage. Your armor reinforcement, super good. Let's just take basically no HP damage versus these guys. I have found in patch 8.0, the Raveners especially have had a ton of animation bugs though. Maybe they'll fix that. It's definitely been introduced a bit more in this patch. It was around previously, it's just now it's very common. And they'll also teleport in front of you at times and just come out attacking, which kind of sucks because getting caught in a Ravener hit, like once you get caught in one, you're going to get hit twice. They have a bit of like a lock on you without no knockback. So that is unfortunate. Just toss this up. Trying to get a shock grenade or something here. Now, I am not using the equipment recharge because I decided to just take the increased range damage, since Decapitation usually doesn't have too many extremis on it anyways, so I don't really see the point. On something like Inferno and Siege mode, definitely take that consecutive execution, because equipment recharge, melt bombs in this game are like some of the most entertaining things to use, first of all, and they're also just incredibly, incredibly powerful. Crack grenades need a big buff, that is for sure. They need to stop targeting minorities. But the amount of enemies that a crack is good against are like Zoanthropes and the Sorcerers, and everything else is pretty mediocre. Melt bombs just kill everything. Alright, let's go up here. Grab him. Shoot this guy.
Purification by frag grenade. That hidden Xenos was but a horrid blight.
I'll land on this guy. That should interrupt the reinforcement call as well if you do an execution near him. There we go. I get out of this bramble. I'll use this little barrel here, why don't we? Good spot for a power wall. There we go. And then we'll just have this guy. Get some free damage on them. For those enraged warriors. The enraged whip warriors especially do deceptively high damage. So you have to be a little careful about that at times. Alright, if I can pop the sniper over there, all those termagants are going to go into a new universe. Delivered by me. I killed this one while he's alone though. I'm pretty sure I saw someone throw up in front of me too. Alright, this should pop their heads. If I grab them here. Oh, there's so many execute options. So 2 synapse bursts should be enough to blow up all these termagants. Or most of them. There we go. And those zoanthropes, they spawn away from each other. So once they actually link up, their HP gets buffed because they do buff each other. Which is why we're doing it this way. This guy. Assault is so much fun versus Tyranids. I just, you know, they really need to give him a proper contested HP recovery versus Chaos for him to ever be fun against them, because unlike Sniper, he doesn't have anything like Purification. He doesn't have anything like, let's see, the incredible damage reduction of a Bulwark or a Shield, or the healing of a Vanguard. So really all the other melee classes, and even some of the like pseudo melee builds like the melee Sniper, they all just function better against Chaos than he does. It really is unfortunate. Alright, there is definitely a Biobord here. Where is he though? I think I got him with that. Wow, took care of these guys. Now, despite the power sword nerf to the stance switching, It's better than it was in the PTS, because in the PTS it was outright broken, but now you can actually swap immediately out of it. It's not as good as it used to be, but, you know, 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward is basically what we did. Or what was it? 1 step forward, 2 steps back? I don't remember the saying. Point is, it was extra worse. Now it's kind of worse. And this is just awful right now, what I'm looking at. Alright, let's kill this guy. And then we're gonna blow up all the spores, and then we're gonna go and murder him maliciously. Oh, don't stagger me off your giant carapace.
Another alien falls to the Imperium's key blade.
Okay, move on to him. Shoot this guy. Alright. That worked pretty well.
I am airborne ready.
I mean, we're out of ammo, but what are you gonna do? On this class, anyways. Class has terrible ammo economy. You know, I was, prior to the siege mode, I really didn't think Assault was that bad. I mean, he sucked versus Chaos, but it wasn't, like, horrific. But with how difficult siege mode is, where it's far closer to, like, an increased spawns mod, he really needs some buffs. And I'm kind of confused why Saber's neglected him for so long. Like, I would like to see them play him for, like, 5 minutes. I would like to see, like, the lead Saber dev, whoever's balancing the game, I'd like to watch them play Assault on Chaos and see how they do. Because some of the design choices for him just feel untested. Oh, we got a combo there. Throw armor reinforcement is good. Getting your armor back constantly is so good. So damn valuable. A lot of snipers here, so I gotta be a little careful on what I lock myself into.
But the Imperium is indomitable.
There we go. Another one. Another one. Alright, let's see here. This is also the new champion skin we're rocking. I'm a big fan of White Scars, Space Wolves, Black Templars too, and my favorite chapter, the Blood Angels, though they did not give us a Blood Angels champion skin. Maybe later. I'm kind of curious to see if we'll get, like, an Iron Hands skin for the Assault, not the Assault, the Heavy, because the Heavy has a champion skin, but his champion skin's from, like, the pre-order of the game, like the Ultra Edition, and that's not really the same as, like, an official champion pack. At least not to me, so I'm curious to, like, give him another one. That's not tied to that. Also, Heavies are, like, one of the most popular classes in this game, so it makes sense. Also a ton of fun to play. There we go. Let's grab the Explosive Charge and move on over here. Oh god, these little termagants, you know, I swear to god. Somebody at Saber upped the amount of these guys that spawn at a given time. Because, like, it used to be, like, 6 or 8, and now it feels like it's upwards to 12 plus. That's our increased range damage. We get a ton of headshot.
The world this Xenos sought to consume.
Okay.
I am airborne ready.
Now you can actually get a boss spawn here now. Actually, no, that was a mod. You can actually get a boss spawn, an extra boss spawn in this map. Not in this area, but at least as far as I know. We can get it back there and further down in the tunnels.
Let this morass of alien
Only one, though. You only get one per game. Because you already have to fight the Hive Tyrants. So they didn't want to, like, double stack you. It's quite nice of them. The Saber's kind of evil sometimes.
explosive.
Yeah, there is an increased boss spawn mod, though, that will... Oh, Guardian Light, that's very convenient for us. That will spawn Carnifexes and such, like down here. It's pretty neat. Like, you can fight them in this whole area. Also, Neurothrow, so they'll get stuck on the stairs. It's pretty funny. I think a Horde's going to spawn here in a second. Yeah, there it is. Is this it?
There must be more charges somewhere amongst this confusion.
It usually sends at least one wave at you before you get all the 3 charges off. But spawns have been a little odd at times for the true solos, like the official one they added. I feel like somebody did turn a setting on. It was worse than the PTS, though.
Do not let that one conquer me.
Boss spawns are still brutal.
The Xenos infestation is sterile for now.
What supports still require preparation?
Let's get me out of here.
Bless this detonator. We need only await the creature now.
Did the crack grenades? Not my favorite, but better than nothing.
Join the Imperial Guard defenses up on the bridge and lure that Xenos Colossus into the kill zone.
Now, the spawns on the bridge have always been goofy. But we did get a lot of waves at the beginning. There is like a total wave cooldown in this game, so that might be it, but I feel like we should have gotten more by now. Because there is a setting in the game that makes it so when you're the last brother standing, it will spawn, like there's like a horde cooldown increase or like extremis cooldown increase. And most of the mods for True Solo turn that off. But it feels like they might have not done that for the official version. Who knows? But I guess now if you want like the most difficult content possible, you will just be playing Siege mode. So that makes sense. Because the spawns there are quite fixed. So you're stuck on that no matter what. Though those higher waves of Siege mode, they're toxic. The enraged guys right now are unfun to fight with how much damage they do, like post 15. Their solution to the timer, at least for now, because they did say they're working on a new timer fix, was basically just make the waves impossible at a certain point. And you won't get timed out, you'll just die.
My lords, it's the relay that's getting hammered right now.
The beast that commands the swarm will arrive here soon.
Though I imagine most players are probably struggling on the triple Hellbrute spawn currently, so they probably aren't too worried about the, most people, at least that's what I've seen, a lot of people aren't getting past wave 15 currently.
Done, guardsman.
Is this a withdrawal order? Negative. The objective is the Hive Tyrant, not the bridge. Defend this position until the Tyranid command unit is executed.
Understood, my lord. May the Emperor guide our lasguns to your support.
Let's see. Where are they coming from this time?
Show the Emperor's angels what we are made of. They're making another push over the bridge. Another throng bears down the bridge.
These are a guaranteed frag spawn on this map. Yeah, this bridge portion, this has always been true in True Solo. If you don't have bots with you, they will always spawn fewer enemies in this portion. Significantly fewer on the bridge.
Get a frag in there.
The Hive Tyrant is on its way, but there is a horde of Xenos between you and it. Dig it, you have its attention. It is moving to intercept. Apply more pressure.
Might be a setting specific to this map, because this is true even if you turn off the last brother standing modifier. Okay, that's That was a goof by me. I forgot I was using a fencing weapon for a second there.
Keep your eyes peeled. The Xenos Leader beast will be in visual range shortly.
There we go. So shoot this guy.
Another alien falls.
I got power roll off. Power roll does do a lot of damage.
Behold this abominable Xenos champion. I've never seen such an atrocity.
I'll go grab a crack grenade here. I am scared the boss spawns coming up because the boss spawns are brutal with no bots at times.
Detonate the charges now.
Especially Hellbrutes. Hellbrutes are a very, very mean enemy in this game to fight in a horde. It's probably why triple Hellbrutes are like the single hardest encounter currently in the vanilla game.
I will pluck them from the battlements and send them sprawling back into dirt. Die, beast.
It's that AoE they put down. Well, it's the impact of the plasma and the AoE they put down.
The infernal
Makes it
Xenos
very hard to deal with on the true solo. And really just in any horde. Let's push up here.
The swarm would go feral without their connection to the hive mind, but their focus is still on the relay. Reports confirm the lieutenant's assessment. Enemy cohesion is still in full effect. That beast is not yet dead.
Our word is bond. This void-spawn behemoth, I would leave it to a lingering death under there were it not still directing the swarm.
Okay.
A lictor scorch. Seeks the prey. Tread carefully. Ravenous lurk above.
Wings of Flame is just so good at wiping out these guys. That and armor reinforcement pretty much makes the Lictors and Raveners a non-issue. There we go.
That ravenous shall have no more scars to Lancer.
I do wish Absolute would just send triple Lictors and things like that, or triple Extremis spawns all the time. Like, I don't really think there's room for I only see the point of sending like 2 guys at you instead of 3 all the time. Especially with how siege mode is. Like, players can clearly handle it.
Knows fear, brothers.
The player base has got a lot better overall the game.
Eliminate. We will not have a better opportunity to finish it off.
Same thing's happening in Dark Tide, where like the baseline of the players in that game has gotten better significantly. Even with the new update bringing in a bunch of new guys.
That pitiful Xenos was but a horror.
Could potentially be a boss spawn down here. If not, we're home free. There's not a guarantee of double boss spawns. It's only You're guaranteed to get at least one, that's what it feels like. 2 is RNG.
Swapping magazine. Strike down the zone of men. End that one's pitiful life, or its cries for reinforcement. Reloading.
Alright, get this guy. Shoot you in the face.
Xenos
Dash you.
now concealed its carcass. Commencing reload. The zoanthropus fall.
And that should be that. And we're gonna mop the Hive Tyrant. Unless you get frame trapped by him, he's quite easy.
Pay no heed to its
I've never seen a boss spawn up here, so I'm pretty sure we missed like any secondary boss spawn for this map, but that's okay. That is okay. We will go up here and kill some guys.
Once more.
Usually I find it likes to send a giant wave here.
The vile Xenos slinks through the shadows. It will not escape judgment.
The lesser you cut out.
We have been cut off from our brethren. The heretics' jamming must reach this far. The devious tricks of this creature will not deter us.
The enemy summons. Xenos hunger, satiate. But the Imperium is exalted. Jump has refueled. The pestilence.
There it is. We'll just fight it here.
The foolish beast thinks it will escape above ground, but it will not.
Power Sword is pretty excellent for crowd control. It's funny this weapon went through like 3 buffs in its lifetime. And now it's gotten 1 nerf. A totally unnecessary nerf, to be honest, but... Oh, fell down. Oh, scooped by me. Misinput. There we go. Pop that guy. Synapse burst is kind of busted. Cannot lie. Unfortunately, it did decide to send all Devourers at me, which is kind of unfortunate, but, you know, these are like the least fun enemy to fight on Nids, I think. This and Biovores, though the spore damage has been reduced dramatically, so they're less of an irritation in the operations, but...
We have cleansed the Xenos state.
There we go. Where are you?
Swapping magazine.
Alright, 2 crack grenades. I still have our sim, I still have our relic. There's like an incredibly wildly low chance of possibly losing to this now. Even if we go down, even if we take like a massive hit. Alright, let's go slap. Oops, I actually missed that time. Flopper. It's a parry simulator on this guy and Wings of Flame. Though we do notice the bonus damage we have from the aerial grace here quite a bit. I should have definitely Wings of Flame that. Alright.
That pitiful Xenos was but the horror threat.
2 for 1.
Avenging angel. I am the righteous storm.
Alright. This is the slightly harder phase, but like really not so much. Really depends what ads you get.
Jump pack refuel.
You can't interrupt him out of that if you just dive on him. Unfortunately, we did do a little late, but... Okay, we have armor reinforcements. We can just farm armor off this guy and then get his friends? Unless we miss entirely? Alright, well, I mean, that's also an option.
The world this Xenos confused now consumes its colors.
Ah, we got the AoE. The gun strike on him there. Alright, now we're just gonna mop him.
Jump pack refuel.
A little late on my jump pack there. That's all there is to it. Hive Timer's pretty easy, boss. Definitely easier than the Trigon. I only like playing Trigon, honestly. I haven't bombed too much recently, so... I just spam this guy. And as the Wings of Flame assault build, very strong against Tyranids. Very fun, too. And the headshot damage with the bonus auxiliary arsenal really helps, or I should say the increased range damage really does help against zoanthropes and things like that, and also neurothropes, so we didn't get one that game. Didn't even need to stim that match, I don't think. But I'm happy they brought the true solo to the official servers. I just feel like the spawns are a little off, but still harder than bots with that, because you can actually, you only get one shot outside Guardian Relics. And there are a lot of things that can properly kill you in this game. So let's see what we get. 13 Extremis, like 40,000 damage almost. Pretty standard. Also, that map's pretty quick anyways. Anyways, guys, that is all for the Wings of Flame build. Thanks for watching. If you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, take it easy.